So hello my friends, welcome back. So last Sunday, the lunatics were running the madhouse in Othaya. The clown and his puppet master decided to close shut the week on a high note through performative mayhem. They tear-gassed the elderly, women and children in a church. It was gut-wrenching to say the least. Gachagwa's gone mad. Consequently, we must pump the brakes on him, put some guardrails, lest his scripts turn deadly next time. His all-time producer, Malala, couldn't miss the show for the world. After months of sabbatical, he finally resurfaced, and maybe last Sunday was just a manifestation of what he's been up to. His jaw dropped to the floor when a journalist called out his lies.
Go back a little bit because there was a bit of a confusion during the incident. Earlier today, you went on to publicly state that Mr. Gachagua had been abducted by unknown individuals amid the tear gas. Yet a little later, he himself came out publicly and said that he was safe at his Wamunyoro home. What information did you have to come up with that?
When the tear gas...
No, sir. You can't have it both ways. Malala's conclusion from the jump was that the cowardly and fake son of Mau Mau was Koimburid, that he was abducted. A falsehood that reminded us of his scripts last year, the same old playbook. I just said he was Koimburid. So does the name Koimburi ring a bell to you? The current Juja MP, a long-time Gachagua confidant, he's since broken ranks with the clown.
Undercover agents of a killer squad that has been put in place to deal with elected leaders who are not supportive of William Ruto, abducted him in full glare of the church members, and in the process almost harmed his wife.
And what of the wannabe blogger, Ndiangui, who in an attempt to please his single mother, a die-hard Rigiji supporter, abducted himself and remained hidden for weeks on end? Martha Karua and the LSK, who represented him in court, had to recuse themselves on realizing that it was all a con job. So what could compel Gachagua and his minions to resume the drama? Yes, do not be fooled. This was a script well curated to achieve a desired outcome, to cordon off the mountain, and specifically Kikuyus, from the president. See, Gachagua realized that the president was making serious inroads into the mountain, so he fell back into his default settings of unleashing mayhem on his own people. Poor Kikuyus, they are pawns in Gachagua's political chessboard. The highlight for me was that, after months of chest thumping from the so-called son of Mau Mau, just a jam gun and a tear gas canister, and he was extracted from a nearby thicket where he was hiding, of course in the company of the bishop. Not even Malala knew his whereabouts. Oruoba inhaled so much tear gas, she ran out of words.
I don't even know what to say. I don't know.
My friends, this was a 3D cinema experience. Now, if you want to know that Gachagua is and was running circles around his shadow, he held a presser summarily, in which he had all the information with regard to the perpetrators of the incident. Gachagua was too prepared for what transpired.
Today in Wetima, ACK Church, a gang of us 15 police officers, rogue police officers, under the command of 2 bodyguards belonging to that guard Betty Maina, the women rep from Raga, Peter Wainaina Kapuga, telephone number 0723 506 647, and another bodyguard of Betty Maina, John Maina, aka Birash, telephone number 0712-791-609, and another goon from Murang'a, Abros Manyek Njeri, telephone number 0710-788-577, converged at the Kamunyaka home of Eric Wamumbi, the Member of Parliament for Mandera, in the morning for breakfast and briefing. They later moved to Wetima with the AK-47 rifles and tear gas canisters and descended on the church. They injured women and children.
That was all in 40 minutes after the fact. At what point did Gachagua conduct all these investigations? Paradoxically, the government, the state with all the machinery, hasn't gotten to the bottom of the incident. So fascinating. He then tried to draw a parallel between the incident and another, in which a church with its occupants was razed to the ground in Kiambaa at the height of post-election violence.
We are indeed not surprised that William Ruto has turned against the Church of Christ, and he has turned against women and children. This is part of his political DNA. It is in public knowledge that William Ruto organized an attack on women and children in Kiambaa Church in 2008.
So why do you think that is? Simple. To make his story believable. Luckily, Kenya is short of cretins. We don't buy propaganda, maybe mistakenly, but even then, we return it. But what boils my blood is the fact that they are fighting amongst themselves. It makes me ecstatic. His fellow Kikuyus are clobbering him like a monitor lizard, but he's so quick to point a finger at the president, so quick to project. He's so disingenuous.
He has a serious problem with the Church of Christ. He has a bone to pick with women and children. He attacked women and children in Mweki, PCA. He attacked women and children in Kariobangi. He attacked women and children in Gatundu. Today he has attacked women and children in Wetima.
It's the president, he said. It's Murkomen. Yet in about 20 minutes, he had so much information on a plethora. The names, the addresses, the phone numbers, and the politicians that these so-called perpetrators were attached to. And what these perpetrators were doing at the time he was holding his own presser. My friends, I charge Gachagua with sponsoring his own violence, and history will prove me right. President Ruto had so much momentum, Gachagua was least of his worries. Let me just reiterate this. It boggles the mind. At the time of his own press conference, Gachagua knew who the goons were, he knew their whereabouts, and he knew that they were feasting, drinking wine, and eating meat with the police. My friends, Gachagua is a joke. He lies with a bald face. Take him seriously at your own risk. Just listen to him back in the day when he was so drunk in power.
Mimi ndio mwenyewe niko ndani. Hata kukija kamia gani, mimi ni chuma ya zamani, niko huko ndani. I'm inside. Hii serikali sinilipigania. There is no way I can move even an inch.
So here's my true sense. The leaders Gachagua cited as having sponsored the violence are the same leaders who've refused to bend the knee to him in the mountain. And so he resorted to smear them, and smear them he did. Consequently, innocent Kikuyus, women and children had to bear the brunt of Gachagua's brutality. My friends, Gachagua resorted to kill two birds with one stone. Smear these leaders and smear the president. Because after unleashing his gun-toting thugs, he then pointed a finger at the president, while at the same time pointed a finger at these leaders at his press conference. So which is it? To him, the end justifies the means, notwithstanding who becomes his casualty. But the sad bit is that his victims seems to have fallen in love with him. Since they egg him on, they enable him. A clear case of the Stockholm Syndrome.